You all are in for a like out of this world, like special treat, like fun conversation, all the things. Like this is going to be so much fun today. Today's guest is a woman who's walked beside me spiritually and digitally for like 20 years. If you don't know what a pen pal is, let me tell you, it's someone that you write a note to, or in our case, an online note, and you like never meet. So we'll tell you more about that. But our friendship began in the digital space, a little corner of the internet called the web chat broadcast system. For those of you who don't know, there were actually things called chat rooms back in the 90s where you would log on, you would talk to people for hours. All you had was a simple picture, no voice, no memes, just words to get to know each other. And for us, it was a chance out of a million. Literally, there were a million users the day that I met Terrica Skaggs. She is a brilliant light, so much fun, hilarious, and one of the world's most sought after bridal consultants and teachers and consultants. I got to watch her from the time when we were simply teens into blossoming into this incredible brand called Terrica Inc. She is the founder of the brand strategy and image consulting firm that helps women walk confidently into their divine assignment. She's a speaker, mentor, and visionary who's changing the way that we talk about beauty, presence, and life. Welcome to the stage, the main stage, Miss.
Oh my gosh. The only stage that matters, right? I'm still in awe. I'm like literally watching you talk.
This got to break this down. Okay.
Pure insanity.
Okay. So it's like either 1997 or 1998. I was actually a privileged child. So I had a laptop that was an IBM ThinkPad about this thick. Or I was in the LSU student government office on like an IBM, like it might have been an Apple II. I don't know, a big situation with a dot matrix printer talking to you. And we would be in these chat rooms for hours after hours. And we convinced some people we were sisters, other people we were cousins, and they were confused because we had the same name and our pictures were so similar. But I've never seen you until today.
Hey, how crazy is that? Terri, girl, you got to go back deeper. So we really have to tell this story. You know, 20 almost 30 years later.
I know, it's crazy.
People have not changed. You know what I mean? How we actually met was we were in this chat room and we became friends. We chatted with each other. I think I kind of even remember our usernames, to be honest with you. I know so funny. It said like a couple years later, our usernames became like our personalized license plates on our cars.
Yeah, for both of us, that's so
awesome. For both of us. So we befriended a bunch of people. And then I can remember coming in one day. I was not a privileged child, didn't have a laptop. I had the big old monitor and the big body, but I had my own and I brought my own. I remember coming back into my room and checking my email. And there was this long diatribe from this guy that thought that I liked him and thought that he liked me. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are.
Was it Andrew or was it a different one? This was an Andrew that
I cannot tell you to this day who it was. And if he's listening, honey, I hope you're doing well in life, but I don't remember you. He was just like, he literally wrote this diatribe to everyone, like fussing us all out. And then literally in the email, pinpointed us all out and had something to say in his email. And then I remember looking, I'm like, that's not my email address. Why is my name there? But it was you. And then you emailed me and you were like, it's not your name, because we have an unusual name, you know? It's not really, well, in Louisiana, it's very common. I came to learn that. But it's not a common name that you hear everywhere. And so that's how we met. And you know what? Send me a picture of you and I'll send you one of me. We did it at the same time. And we literally have our hair done the same way.
It's so wild.
Same shirt. And it's just like,
It's like a black and white striped shirt or like navy blue and white. It's so wild.
this is so wild.
White colored eyes.
Yes. And then you're like, well, I'm from Louisiana. And I'm like, my family's from Louisiana. And you're like, yeah, I'm from up north. And I'm like, so is my family. What's happening? Your birthday is the same birthday as my dad.
Yeah.
We have the same first name and the same middle initial. It's just literally insane. And then everybody knows too that my daughter also has my name. And you were the first person I could not wait to tell. Like, Terri, into the world. There's another one of us too. So it's and then my nickname is also Terri, but everybody calls me Terri. Your nickname is. We have so much in common, and I'm like, you know what? We have to be related. I just refuse to believe that the two people cannot have so much in common and not be related. You moved literally an hour and a half away from me, and I never got a chance to see you because I was traveling so much. And then I come to your city, and then you're like, hey, let's get together, but I'm leaving in like 10 minutes.
It's
like,
so crazy. Yes.
But then I am huge into ancestry. So I would spend hours on ancestry DNA. So I always know how to connect trees.
We need to check.
And I've always been looking because I have been convinced in my bones that you and I are related. But I have a best friend, and she would always tell me stories about her family, and I would listen to the names, and then I would listen to you, and I would see some of the things that you would write about and you would post. Like, no, something's up. And it turns out then you are related to my best friend.
I forgot about that.
Are cousins. And I'm like, y'all are related. And she would laugh. And I'm like, no. Trust me, y'all are related. And then when I put the two of you together, you're like, oh my God, we're cousins. So
I totally forgot about that. Oh my God.
We're cousins. I will take it. We're cousins twice removed through best friendage. It is what it is. But yes, this has been a friendship that was absolutely written in the stars. If you ever have to question if someone belongs in your life, stop it, because things like this absolutely happen. And then what's so funny now is that we've been connected all this time since we were like, 18, 19 years old, never met in person, never talked on the phone, never video chat. Like, I teared up when you first came on.
It's like, so wild. I know, right? Like, we have like iPhones and like we still haven't even FaceTime. Like, no one will believe this.
What's wrong with us? It's so many things. So yeah, no, I'm so excited for this, and just to see your trajectory in life and how many lives that you touch, how many people that you inspire. It has been just an honor to sit there and watch. So I'm proud of you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
You have been cracking up rooms of people since like 1997. And oh my God, you would have these one-liners that were like, drop the mic. They were always hilarious. And you would drag people like in this dot matrix printer world. And you're still doing it, like calling people
doing it. Now they pay me to do it, Terri.
Yes.
Now they pay me to do it.
It is incredible. You know,
it's amazing. It is
amazing. The world to educate people, like just so much fun to watch.
But same. So again, we have two women, same name, living the same life in like parallel universes. That's what I feel like we are. That's us. That's absolutely us.
Well, I want you to tell people, like it took me forever to think of the name of this podcast, but when it hit, it like hit. We all have these journeys, these roots, and they're like, in my case in Louisiana with like moss all over them, but when we uncover those roots and we really get into the person's being and their origin story, there's so much to learn and so much to share. And then there's usually like this one like snapshot in time, or for some people, many, where you have this rebirth, where you just transform and you become closer and closer to the truest version of yourself with each rebirth. And I have watched you do that so many times. But I'd love for people just to learn, what was that origin story? Where did you come from? Because your name is bright all over the world. Hundreds of thousands of people follow you online. And people are disciples, but where did it all begin?
Well, once upon a time, no, I don't even know. I am one of those people that they say you have to be very careful of Scorpios because they rep their, astrological sign like a gang. That is absolutely true. I am a Scorpio through and through. And that's something that's very characteristic of a Scorpio is the death and rebirth of so many times and so many iterations of yourself. And that has absolutely been me. Both of us did pageants, and then I elevated from pageants to wanting to go into medicine. And then I went from medicine to wanting to go into law. And then law turned into, you know what? I thought I wanted to be a criminal attorney, but what I really want to do is celebrate with people at the happiest moments of their lives rather than being with them at a traumatic point in their lives. And I'm still a huge advocate for people, but I found a way to use that advocacy in ways that help them celebrate who they are. And then that iteration changed as well because, the student becomes the teacher. Then I became the person that begins to teach wedding pros how to elevate their businesses, how to have better client services, how to actually stand in who they are so that they know that they're worthy of their pricing, they're worthy of their creativity. And then there's going to be another iteration there where I'm teaching people how to teach other people. So I don't know if there's ever a moment where it started. I know that there's never going to be a moment where it stops. You know what I mean? I think when you stop changing is when you die, finally. And that's not something that I ever want to address, to even consider, or to even entertain, because so many things change, so many times have their seasons, whether it's relationships, it's where you are in your career, whether it's where you are with yourself. And in order to grow and get bigger, you have to be okay with letting some things go. So yeah, I can't tell you where it started. I just can tell you, baby, it ain't ending. I know that. One thing's for certain and two things for sure. It's not ending for sure.
I love it. And you've always been such a bright star. I remember and again, these chat rooms, there were only words and one picture.
Yeah.
It was like for someone who's in their 20s or 30s right now, I guess it was like Clubhouse, but with
Maybe.
words.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
the
You can
closest
even
thing
hear
to
voices, and that's like, if you really want to make an impact, do it with just your face. You had to pick your best picture, baby. You had to know your angle and your lighting because you weren't getting a second chance. You had to pick your best picture.
oh
You
my
had to you had to come out swinging with whatever it was that you were going to say. And I guess you know what that's very indicative of, I guess, how we should live our lives. You don't know if you're going to get a second chance. You don't know if somebody is going to see you at your best or at your worst. So you always have to make sure that everything that you do counts.
Yeah. So how did you know that, being creative and helping people with their celebrations was where you truly needed to lean in? Hey y'all, Terri here. I'm all about transformation, and that includes how we care for our bodies. That's why I love Pure Method Collagen by Dr. Dina Peralta Reek. It's clean, science-backed, and made for women who want to feel radiant from the inside out. And don't worry, your favorite guy can use this too. Right now, my Roots and Rebirth family gets 15% off. Just head to puremethod.co and use promo code Terri at checkout. Because rebirth starts with nourishing every part of you, inside and out.
I love a big production.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean, when my daughter was like having a birthday party, I'm like, you have to get a Disney gown and heels. And yes, I'm bringing linens and a 2-tiered cake into Chuck E. Cheese. And people looking at me like, what's wrong with you? But, there are so many moments in our lives, and now they call them core memories, right? That's the thing. There are so many times in our lives where we remember what was a catalyst for us, something that changed us, something that either hurt us, inspired us, or moved us in some way. And then I don't think we put enough emphasis or energy into the things that make us happy. And whether it's just anything, what, today's Friday, let's celebrate, or I'm getting married, I just got a promotion, I got a dog, whatever it is, every day is worth celebrating. So I knew that, again, I wanted to be a part of people really taking a moment and breathing and just living in the energy that was around them and really being loved on and being okay with that. Because, sometimes in life too, we're moving so fast. someone will give you a compliment. And what's the first thing we do? Oh, no. Or I did this. Or you look great. And you're like, oh, girl, I need to lose 5 pounds. We never have a moment where we just sit in it and enjoy the love and then give that love back. So that's definitely something that I wanted to do for my clients. And then now, as a business consultant, it's something that I want to do for other entrepreneurs. I want them to sit in the moments where they can celebrate themselves, where they can give joy to someone else, where they can inspire themselves, because sometimes they're few and far in between in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Will you like live, eat, sleep, just I'm gorgeous? You know, you exude confidence and just like someone where everything comes so easy. Has that been the case for you? Or what was it like building this empire known as Terrica Inc?
Oh my gosh, it's never that easy, right? Because people will look at you and they see the you that you put out there. They don't see the hard work and the tears that it took to get to that. And it was a lot of, getting those compliments and being like very self-deprecating. And I had to learn how to stop doing that, because you say things and your mouth says it, but your body doesn't know any different. Like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I'm so fat. I'm so broke. It's like we're manifesting, we're prophesying what we want our future to be. So, no, I wasn't always like this, but I decided that I wasn't going to stay like how I was before. And nobody was going to treat me better than me. And it ain't nobody in this county, state, parish, world that's going to ever make me feel that about me, baby. Never. Absolutely not. So I'm always going to be my biggest advocate. I'm always going to be my biggest fan. And if people call that confidence being cocky, well, so be it. Go to therapy and get well soon, because I love the hell out of me. And I'm just not going to stop at all.
Yeah, so take us through your journey. Like, you made this transformation where you pivoted from medicine to some time in the legal profession to, running your own business. What did it look like? How'd you get started?
Oh my, it was scrappy. It was very, very hard, because when I started my business in a whole new state, a whole new area that I was not familiar with. I am originally from Baltimore and I moved down to the Golden Isles of Georgia. Didn't know anybody. I had no connections. I hadn't even had a wedding before. When I started my business, I had never been in one, never been to one. I just knew that I loved love and I wanted to help people celebrate. So, being an avid student and an avid researcher, I wanted to learn everything, plan everything out. And then I came up with a strategy, and that just took me from there. Suddenly, my name was on the lips of all of the local vendors and venues, and they wanted to work with me. And then that got me more referrals. And then it's like I grew in a place that wasn't made for me. Like, still to this day, I'm probably one of the only people of color in my area that work in my industry down here. And that can be very taxing. That can be very exhausting. One, when you're young, proving that you're smart enough, that you have the ability to do what you do. And then one, when you don't look like everybody else in your market, still proving that you're worthy, and then having to be 2 times as good. So that's where I think another place where that confidence has come from, because I always knew that I could do it. I just had to show people. And that's where my journey started. And then at some point, it was just like, you know what? I'm really good at what I do, and I'm not going to take nothing from off of nobody. No more. I'm not asking for permission anymore. I am not asking to be liked. I like myself enough. I have enough friends. So if you like me, don't like me, that's between you and your God. I have no problem with that at all. At all. But I think that it is so very important for us, no matter what it is that we do, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you are climbing the corporate ladder, whether you're a parent, you're single, you're married, whatever it is, it's so very important for us to get in tune with who we are. Because if you don't know who you are, then you can't be anything to anybody. And that's something that I got some scuffed knees and some stubbed toes from learning that lesson too, because through all of these iterations of myself, they never really felt quite like me. And until I was like, you know what, girl, sit down and figure out how you're going to tell this story. How are you going to tell the story of being you, of working with you? And that's when everything took off.
I think that's so right. I was recently talking with a consultant who was, helping a client overcome like this very difficult time in their business. And as they were laying out the story, it became so evident that who they were at work was not how they saw themselves. You
Mhm.
know, I don't think oftentimes we realize that we can totally show up in one space one way, disconnected,
Mhm.
not fully present, maybe sounding a little sarcastic and cynical, but
Mhm.
still being full of life outside
Yes.
of those four doors.
Mhm.
And we might only see ourselves as being full of life. And so it's not until those two things become one and that we really practice like oneness and this state of being that we can truly find these moments of self-confidence where we can take a leap of faith, where a business that we have might actually work, it might thrive. And so I love that you started from just know yourself because
Mhm.
that is the real foundation for anything in life.
Absolutely. And then you're really cognizant then of what you're putting out there, and you're cognizant of what you're going to have around you. Because I'm pretty sure we've all had those conversations before where people are like, "Oh, when I first met you, I thought you were mean. I thought you were stuck up. I thought you were really," and it may not be who we are, but it's just either our armor that we're putting up because we've been hurt before, or we're scared, or we don't really feel secure in where we are. But when you are so very protective of yourself, you can keep some things out that you want to come in. So, yes, knowing who you are is so very important because then you know how you want to be received. And then when you know how you want to be received, you also know what you want to receive. And anything that's not that, you're not going to take that anymore. So, in any advice that people ask me for, and I always say, "Well, who are you? What does this mean to you? Are you showing up as you?" Because from everything else, it flows.
Yeah. I want to like underscore what you just said. When you said when your armor is so strong, you could actually not allow the things that you want to receive to come to you. And that could be from just relationships, people that you're working with, just magic in life, and I would add like fear. Sometimes when we're so fearful of losing something, not controlling, that too, acts just like armor. And so
Abs-
people are around you many times are not even aware,
Yep.
you know? And so you're just out there repelling everything that your heart really desires.
So very true. And then what happens is that you're so anxious that you put yourself through whatever you're afraid of twice. You know what I mean? Because it may never happen, but you're so stressed out. You're like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You don't realize all the good things that are happening to you, or you're actually manifesting this fear, and then it does happen. So yeah, there are absolutely times where my life has been blackout curtains, girl, where I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep out the light so I can do whatever." And it absolutely had the adverse reaction that I thought it would. It kept out the light, it kept out the heat, it kept out a lot of things that I did not want as well.
I'd love for you just to share how do you stay connected? You're similar to me that you travel a lot for work. You're all over. Your flights are definitely longer than mine sometimes. But I had 138 hotel nights for work last year. Wild. But how do you stay connected and just continue to, be at your center, your best?
Girl, boundaries. Boundaries, my second favorite B word. It is not, and especially when you're in an industry like mine where there's always a party. There's always a get together, or there's always a dinner, and you have to network and you have to get with people. And people don't understand that that is such an energy suck.
Yeah.
Like, if you are not mentally prepared to give that, you will drain yourself. And I am so okay with saying no. It is a complete sentence. And I always thought that I had to be somewhere, and I have to show up here, and I have to do this, and I have to do my brand. I have to be here. And then I was like, you know what? No, I don't. I'm still going to be Terrica tomorrow, but I'm going to be well rested. I'm going to be on fire, and I'm going to be okay. So now people are like, "Oh, I didn't see you at the party last night." You want to know why, baby? Because I was in my club watching old movies on, TMC, in the bathtub, having a good time, watching Game of Thrones for like the 40th time, probably. So I make sure that I take care of me. And I have honestly, and I want to say maybe within the past definitely 3 years, but for sure I was creeping into it from 2020. I've been okay with saying no and also being okay with whatever comes from that, because I owe me that. I can't, complain and say, oh, I didn't get enough sleep or I didn't get this. It's my job to do that. It's not anybody else's job to take care of me. So I am so okay with saying no and being okay with the results that happen from that. So whenever I travel, I make sure I put in time to press the flesh and see people, but I always take time to center myself as well. I am up at dark 30 every morning to go work out in the gym. That's how I start my day. And then I'm showering, I'm meditating, I'm centering myself, I'm listening to my playlist that either is a sound bath or it's affirmations just to get me ready for the day. And I have all of these different playlists for whatever mood. Like, oh, am I gonna be that girl today? Let me put on this song. Or do I need to center myself? I'm gonna do that. But I always make sure that I take time for me because at the end of the day, I'm the one that I owe my obligations to. So whether that's at the beginning or at the end, I make sure that I rest because for me, it's not an option, it's a requirement for me. For sure.
Like, do you stop reading my agenda for the day?
Well, I'm sorry.
Not how my day rolls. Like, I'm going to work out in the morning, go do my little meditations and affirmations journal. But I go back and forth, oscillate between while getting dressed, maybe Britney Spears or angel frequencies.
It's waiting.
Yeah.
That's so true. It's like, you know what? Can we do both? Nope. And sometimes my playlist will mix and merge. I'm like, I'm not that same girl that I was then. Hold on, let's calm down a little bit. Let's get it together.
This is so funny. This morning when I was getting dressed, it kept going from this Maya Angelou talking track to Coldplay. And so it got to a point where I stopped and I took a picture of both songs because I was like, is this a message? What's happening here? I had time to figure it out. I was like, universe, I need you to hold that thought. I will have figured it out. But
I'm gonna be with you in a minute. I gotta figure this out.
Because something was going on in the frequency, but I just had no time to figure it out. But it's so true. I'm a Gemini, so there are two of me, but I truly think that's because I'm really an introvert that operates in an extrovert's world by nature of my profession, but I could be that girl where it's just me in the room for hours or, at a table and not need to speak to anyone. I'm not being shy. I just don't have any words right now.
People don't understand that. I try to do things like put my AirPods in, I'm not really in a talking mood right now, or I'm trying to read a book. And it's not me being rude. It's just sometimes I won't say I'm overwhelmed, but again, it's just so much energy from talking to people or then pouring into people or having people sometimes trauma dump on you sometimes or ask you for advice. And you when you feel so much for people, you're giving so much to, and then you ever come in from a meeting or a talk and you just sit down and you're like, I need nobody to talk to me for a good, just nobody say anything at all to me. And I'm just like you, I am an introverted extrovert. People see me online. They're like, oh, you're so fun. And I'm like, yes. It's just, you don't feel the need to perform all the time. So yeah, it's exhausting. Girl. It's exhausting being a Terrica. If nobody takes anything else from this, just know it's exhausting being a Terrica. Just it's exhausting.
Oh my gosh, totally switching gears. But when I was getting ready for this, I thought about the time where I thought I wanted these most fabulous earrings, and they come in and I put them on, and my neck's so short, as you can see, they are down here. And I was like, what do I do? They have Terri on them. So I just shoot you a message on Instagram, hey girl, I'm gonna dress. I'm gonna send you these earrings.
And when I want to be that girl, I put on my big hoop earrings that say Terri in them. As you know, when we were children, it was almost impossible to find anything with our name on it, right? Even Terri was hard because it would always be Terri with one R and not two. So anything that has my name on it, I need. So when you were like, I'm going to send them to you because my neck is too short. And I'm like, how big are these earrings?
They're very big.
They were very They were very big. But yes, I go out all the time when I'm like, oh, she's her today? Yes, put on her Terri earrings. Yes.
I got the Whopper Junior version. I had to get them again. Like they were too good not to. But I want to talk to you a little bit about motherhood. I don't have kids, but I love the way that you just talk about your kiddos and how you just every day pour them with love and show them that they're supported.
Yeah. They are by far the best thing I've ever done. They are my favorite people in this universe. I have 4, and they all have different personalities. And, my first 3 are pretty much close in age. So they grew up together, and I love seeing the bond that they have. I love to see them interact. Like this week we were all out to dinner and they're like laughing and talking and just engaging with each other and helping each other. And it's amazing. It's my favorite. I always knew I wanted to be a mom. I didn't know when it was going to happen or what happened. And, sometimes I see your dreams don't happen in order. I became a mom before I had so much of my professional success, but my kids got to grow with me in that. And I think that that's very important too, because now they see they can do anything and they are the most creative people. I've got one that like wants to make music. I've got one who Terry created like this song that goes into one of those tap tap games. And it's like the hardest thing in the game. And like people make YouTube videos of them trying to play his song in a game. Like one video has like 1 million views. And I'm like,
Oh,
can we monetize this? And he's like, Mom, not everything is a hustle. And I'm like, yes, the hell it is. Yes, it is. He has 1 million
everything
views.
is a
Yeah.
hustle.
Everything is a hustle, baby. Everything is a hustle. So yeah, motherhood is amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and I would do it 10 times over if I could for sure. I loved being pregnant. I love labor was
That's a lot of work.
labor. Yeah, you can have labor, but even just watching them growing up and seeing different iterations, and you see different faces of yourself as well. You grow up with them, and that's been like my greatest joy. And I think last year was fun because I got to take my kids to a speaking engagement. They got to see me
Huh?
speak for the first time, and that was so awesome. And my son is like shooting content for me, and then
Oh,
later
it's
on,
so
it was
fun.
so much fun. And my daughter, she got to introduce me to the stage. Nobody knew who she was. And my nickname in the industry is the mother hustler. And she was, oh, she's a queen. She's a mother hustler. She's like, yeah, well, you guys know her as the queen or the mother hustler, but to me, she's just mom. And like the whole room just starts bawling and going,
Aw.
oh. And I'm like, wait a minute, girl, that's my spotlight. Get off the stage. Get on. What's your thing? Let me go. No, but it was so I had to get myself together before I went up on stage to talk. So yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
I love that you said they grew up with you. They got to watch you do all of this. For
Mhm.
the mom who's thinking about starting a business or maybe who just started a business, what advice do you have for them about how to bring your kids along?
Do it. Do it scared. Do it with them. Let them see you fail. Let them see you try. Let them see you go out there and succeed. Like I literally built this with, even when I was going to studying legal studies at the University of Baltimore, I had my daughter in the carrier and I would sit her up on the table and I've got all the ALRs and LexisNexis next to me and doing that. And then when I go to weddings, she now works weddings with me as well. They would sit at my feet when I'm doing a website. Do it with them because they will remember your example more than they'll remember your words. And it's so very important when we're pouring into our children that we give them that good example, that we show them that everything's not going to be perfect, but you don't give up. You keep trying, you keep hitting at it so that they don't feel like they're being held to this impossible standard. But they also know, well, you know what? My mom, my dad, my parent did this. I can do this too, and I can even exceed what they've done. And that's something that they definitely need to see.
No, I love it. I have so many friends who are single moms
Mhm,
and they, are they are their business, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
so I just love that you can tell them like 1 foot forward, do it scared,
Exactly.
let them see you fail. Because those are life's greatest lessons. And if you're gonna learn them, why not learn them from your mom? Right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's always so important to be that soft place to land. So that, you know what, it didn't work out. That's fine. We're going to pivot and we're going to do something else. I don't want you to feel like you have to find comfort or help somewhere else. We will figure it out. Absolutely. So, yes, especially in business and entrepreneurship. And like you said, being a single mom, when it's just you, there's so much pressure on you. Like, I got to get this right. I have to do this. If I don't do this, everything falls apart, everything fails. That's why, again, I'm so adamant about taking care of me, because it is just me. So I think that it's very important to take your children with you along that journey, and don't just show them the pretty stuff, show them everything so that they know what life is truly like.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the not so fun stuff,
Mm.
tell us about a time where you've had to really dig deep and maybe lean on your faith. What was that time and how did you turn it around?
Oh, wow. I had a 20 plus year marriage that ended, and my whole life changed. It was like, okay, now I have to step up and be any and everything. Now, and I had been for some time, but now it was actually real. And if you have never had a fire being put under you to where it's like you gotta make it or break it, you gotta do something, it's definitely in those moments. And I can remember saying, "You know what? I'm built for this. I know I can do it. And if this doesn't work, I have something else." Giving up is not an option at all. You know what? I'll just do something else. I'll figure out something else. But there was a time where there wasn't a something else. And I would say that would have to be when my dad passed away. And, there's nothing after death. There isn't an alternative. And at that point, I felt so stretched because I had to be there for my mother who had lost her husband. I had to be there for my children who had lost their grandfather, who was such a central part of their lives. And then I lost my father, but I'm like so overextended trying to be everything for everybody else. And here I was, I felt untethered when my dad passed away. I just felt like I was kind of like floating. I was almost there, but I was still floating away. So honestly, I dealt with it, but I didn't deal with it. It wasn't probably until 6 or 7 months later after he passed where I actually cried for the first time over him passing. So I think, again, knowing who you are, how you handle stress, how you take care of yourself is so important. So when these things do happen to you, you don't just fall apart. And then if you do fall apart, that's also okay. But to have a really good rooted support system, and like you said, your faith, that's going to upgird you and let you know that this is a moment, it's not the end. And I think that's something that we all have to wrap our heads around.
Yeah, we were both daddy's girls. I remember us in
Mhm.
our little chat room talking about our daddies and like how they
Yeah.
were helping us with our cars and
Yeah.
all the things,
Yes.
So I understand what you're saying about feeling untethered, but I still talk to mine often. I was just in Costa Rica and was just thinking about how he would have enjoyed, everything that was in Costa Rica, the food, the music, the coffee. And all of a sudden, like this soulful song comes on. It wasn't like the Temptations, but it was kind of like the Temptations. I can't remember who it was. And I was like, okay,
I hear you.
I got you. And then it went back to this like, it was this cafe music where it was like current day songs, but sung like a cafe. So it was like
Mhm.
work songs so different than the others. And I was like, I get it. I know. Do you have those
Yeah.
moments?
All of the time. And like you, I still talk to my dad as well. And I'm like, all right, fine. I hear you. Okay. It's fine. Or you can back off now. Cause sometimes he's real loud. Yeah. Y'all from Louisiana. Y'all don't play. And so let's say, stop yelling. Like, I'm not yelling. This is the way I talk. But hey, I heard you. You don't have to do that anymore. But yes, it could be a song. It could be a certain food that he liked. And it's my dad's favorite bird was a cardinal, and my favorite tree is a palm tree. Uh, After my divorce, I had to move. I had to buy a new home, and it just so happens that my house has like 6 palm trees on a property. And in the back, on one of the most beautiful palm trees, is a nest of cardinals.
Oh,
So right
wow.
outside my window, I see them all of the time. So yes, there are always signs. Spirit never dies. It always just transforms. It weaves itself in its life. So yeah, I know that while he's not here with me, he's still here with me. And I miss him so much.
Yeah.
And there are so many, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? He would really love this movie. Yeah. But that's the time where, you do two things. You sit in that moment, and rather than being sad, you just enjoy it. You know what I mean? You just really sit in it. That's a time that's telling you to be present. And then it's also a motivation for you to also be present in your own life, because you have to remember
Amen.
you're somebody's memory like that too. So it's no sense in being stressed out. It's no sense in being angry all of the time, because that's not how you want to be remembered for others.
Yeah, I often tell people one of the most transformational things for me when my dad passed, and I don't think I've shared this in a podcast recording before, but I spoke to my dad the day before he died, and he told me that he had pneumonia, and he's like, "Do you understand what that means?" And I said, "Yes." And I was on a shuttle being transported from somewhere to somewhere while at a conference. My best friend was with me. And I remember asking my mom, "Hey, do I need to come home?" Because
Mhm.
I understood what he was telling me. And mom was
Mhm.
like, "No, I'll let you know. Like, it's just a bad day. It's just pneumonia. It'll be fine." And I hung up and I told my friend, I was like, I don't know.
Mhm.
Went to bed. And that morning I woke up. I was still sleeping, but it was like in between sleep and awake.
Mhm.
And I heard him just tell me like it was his time to go. And
Mhm.
I said, okay. I was like, I love you. And I said, I have one thing for one ask for you. And this is a true story. But I laughed because my ask was hilarious now looking back. And I was like, don't judge me when you get to the other side. And then I woke up and it was my mom calling to say he had passed. You
Wow.
know? And
Wow.
so it's when you say that we're still connected, we are. And shortly thereafter, I just said, let me have your brightest energy. Let me have your best traits. And I
Mhm.
think those things that um many of the things that have just gone well for me since he's passed, it's because I got those traits. And so we can see spirit being a transformation for them and for us because they can still gift us. We can still
Oh,
inherit. We can get
absolutely.
those qualities. It's so powerful that you're still tethered in some way.
That's again, our lives are like right here, just right here. I This is right before my speaking career even took off, right before my dad passed. And I had been waiting for months to get this call that I was going to speak at my first conference, my first national conference. And it was in Louisiana. And I was like, oh my God, daddy, if I get it, I get to go to Louisiana and I've never been. And it's where you're from. And he's like, you're going to get it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And my dad went into the hospital on my birthday. He took a really bad turn about 2 weeks later. And then the day that he passed, I was ready. I knew that it was going to happen. So I got to prepare myself. And I knew I had to be the strong one for everybody else. And my dad passed in the evening. And I got an email maybe about an hour later saying, congratulations, we're putting you into the lineup. You're going to get this. And I was like, he
Oh,
did it.
we do it.
He did it. And maybe I want to say right after that, I'm in Louisiana, I'm speaking. Somebody sees me, they're like, you have to come to Vegas and speak at this. It's the largest conference,
Oh,
wedding pros. And then somebody sees me at that conference and like, in 2 months, we're going to make room for you. We love you. Come to Mexico and speak for us. And I'm
oh
like,
my
oh my gosh,
gosh.
I'm not ready. Terri, I kid you not, the next year, I'm being asked to speak with all of these national brands. And I was part of this group, and this woman's like, I feel very connected to a lot of people spiritually, and I just want to test my gift. And I was like, all right. And, we all have our gifts where we hear things. And so I meet with her, and it was honestly to talk about like how I can use my own gift in my career now that I'm speaking. And she's like, I know that's what you want to talk about, but there is a man yelling in my ear that wants to talk to you. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. She's like, he's not angry. He's just loud. He says that's just the way he talks. I was like, that's my dad. And it's so funny that 2 weeks before we were out to eat, and I was telling my mom, Daddy would really love this fish. And she got a little bit sad. She said, yeah, he would. So fast forward to this conversation. This woman's like, he wants to know if you like the fish. And I was like, is somebody following me? Like,
Yes, he is.
what's happening? And so she's like, he wants you to know that he's so proud of you and that he saw you in the room with the gold and blue carpet and you had on the blue dress.
Oh
There
my God.
are no this is like right after this event happened, there were no pictures of me anywhere at this place. And when I went to go look in the room, it's at my first national brand affiliated thing that I'm doing. And it's in the room that's there. And like all of the things that she was telling me was just confirmation that I needed that, you know what, I can breathe. He's
Yeah.
here. He's not gone. Spirit is always connected. He's moving on. He's letting me know that he's watching me for sure.
He's opening the doors for you, girl.
Yeah, so
Red
and you know,
carpet.
he always has. He always has. So yeah, and I tell my kids too, I'm like, I'm not gonna leave you wherever I'm at, I'm gonna find you. Don't you worry about it. You can take that as a good way or a bad thing. I'm gonna find you.
I'll be tapping on your shoulder. But
Exactly. Exactly. You got to get an exorcism. I'm gonna haunt this house. Absolutely.
I actually had a similar situation at my podcast launch. Actually, there was an incredible human, Snowy Rodeo, who was doing sound healing. And right before I went to speak, she walked up to me and she's like, "Hey, there's father energy here. Your dad wants you to know that he's proud of you. He said to tell you he's proud of you." And I often get that from my dad if there's someone who can translate for him or get him. And it's so fun that the moments where they would be standing along
Yes.
physically, that they're still there and the connection is so strong that they will get a message to you so that you do know.
Absolutely. Because you have those moments where you're like, oh, I wish they were here. I wish they could see this. And that they're there. They are absolutely there.
And for me, a lot of it is a stretch. I'm Catholic. I grew up Catholic. My family's very Catholic. But so for me to have a sound healer, a tarot card reader, like these are things that are out of the norm for my family. So for me to get a message that he's proud is just one of great meaning, and I'll take it any day of the week. But
every day that ends in Y. Yes.
Yeah, but I say that for people who just question or might be afraid. Like, no, there's no reason. There's only fun from the messages that you receive.
Absolutely. And people ask me too, like, oh, how are you so in tune? Because there are so many things where I've felt things and I've gone to people and said, hey, you need to pay attention to this or this, and then something happens. I feel like, especially when you want to feel this connection with people that you've lost, you've got to really, again, and I hate to keep saying it, you have to center yourself. You really have to take care of yourself so that you're not doubting what you're hearing. In your soul exactly what it is that you're receiving. And that comes from, letting things go, taking care of yourself, and really being open to so much more. And like you said, same thing. I was raised Catholic, and you guys can't see me if you're listening to the audio. I'm doing the air quotes. I went to Catholic from the time I was little up until the time I graduated high school. And you're right. There's so many people that tell you, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then when someone tells you something, you're like, no, that can't be true. But again, spirit does not die. It does not die. And neither does love. And and I can say that absolutely as a parent now that, yeah, I would do anything to make sure that my children knew that they were still loved and I was still looking after them. So I have no doubt that our dads are doing the same.
Hey, y'all, it's Terri. I believe in soul work that sticks. And that's why I've partnered with Lumenkind to create my very own Mindful Mark packs, Movement Maker, and the Great Me set. Whether you're moving through a loss, leading a movement, or just need to hit pause with purpose, there's a mark for that. Head over to lumenkind.com and use Terri15 to get 15% off. Let's wear our intentions, have a mindful moment, and walk in purpose every day. You're a brighter being, and I'm cheering you on.
Oh my gosh. We need to have a slumber party. Like, can we put this on our calendar soon?
Absolutely. And you know, this crazy, I'm going to Costa Rica later on this year. So I just follow you around. I keep following you around the globe. It's just, you just keep following.
It was so delightful and so many incredible things happened, you know. I oftentimes in my marriage, I felt like I was told I wasn't athletic or I couldn't do things. And so, you know, to go with I was going to say new beau, but he's not so new. We've been dating almost a year and a half. But I did so many things for the first time. I went on a jet ski for the first time as an adult. And
did you like it?
I was so much fun, you know. And it was raining, and I was like, it was okay because I had my braids right now, my vacay hair.
Where did you get my vacay hair on?
And I did a crow's pose during yoga for the first time. I think I got really hard. Yes. And I went surfing, and I did stand-up paddleboarding.
Girl, you are doing like full body work.
Yes. And this whole time, you know, like I had painted the story and understood that I was not athletic. So no, I did not fall off that stand-up paddleboard, you know, but it's just, you know, we get to do things in the order that we should, right? And so for me, going to Costa Rica was this incredible opportunity to connect with nature, to really have healing from these stories that I was told and believed, and to come back just in a different place because, man, this year has been a lot. I work in politics. I earn my paycheck through politics. It's been a lot.
Girl.
And that is a complete sentence.
You're right.
But so I hope that you just have the same experience. It's just such a gorgeous place with beautiful people.
Cannot wait. I've never been, so
it's my first time. If we're in the same cities, I'll share with you where we went. It was
perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I cannot wait. And you know what? You brought up something too. It's so amazing about the stories that we hear about ourselves and that we're just so okay with co-opting or we're okay with co-signing. And then we stretch a little bit. Or something forces us to stretch. Yeah. And we're like, I'm not that person. I get to say who I am. I get to say, you know, what I do. And so I love that. I love that for you because, girl, you were doing some hard stuff. I am terrified of skiing, but I'll do it if I have to. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, that was so much fun. I want to do it again.
Oh, okay. All right. I believe you. Since I follow you everywhere, I'm going to have to do this too. So I have to make this happen. I'm going to have to make it happen.
Well, I'm going to come to Savannah. We have to have a slumber party.
We do, like quick, fast, and in a hurry. We need to do all the things, watch all the movies, wear all the fuzzy pajamas and all the things. Yes. Good food, good drinks, good movies. We'll have the best time.
Oh, well, I hope people leave their cups so filled just from your stories and your energy. Like you're such a force, but like a force in all the good ways, you know, a force to help women be confident, a force for people to have memorable celebrations in life, and just a force to know that we can stand on our own 2 feet anytime, but especially in the times when we're called to do so. So I'm just so privileged to know you and so grateful to see your face today. Thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been so nourishing and just, I'm so moved. I'm so happy I get to see you. This is just so wild. This is 20 plus 30 years in the making. This is so crazy. So crazy.
Where can people find you online if they got to like watch your Instagram reels? They're hilarious. Like, tell them where to find you.
Yeah, that's where I spend a lot of my time is on Instagram. You can find me at Introducing Terrica on Instagram, also on Facebook. And if you want to check out where I'll be, might be in your city or country, where I'm talking about business, energy, confidence, and all the things, you can find that at terricainc.com.
You better get it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. And congratulations on the podcast. I'm so excited. So excited.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow this podcast. You can find me at all things Terri Broussard Williams and movementmakercollective.com. Hey, y'all. Hey, now you know all this stuff. But before I go, a reminder, the content shared on this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. and should not be considered professional advice. Okay, that's right. I am no professional. If you need a medical, mental health, or other professional support, please consult a qualified expert. Till next time, I'm cheering you on.